Hey, what's happening YouTube? It's Richard, founder of Short-Term Rental University and professional real estate developer. Today's video is going to be super helpful for many of you. It is 10 tips if you're just getting started on Airbnb. But before we get started, if you haven't set up your own Airbnb account, please go ahead and click the link in the description below. It'll help you get your Airbnb account. It actually pays us a little bit, and we'd really appreciate that because we want to continue growing the community and creating more and more videos and content. So, let's get started and click the link below to open up your account. So the very first tip, and I've filmed videos on this before and you're gonna hear it from me time and time again, is get started. Revenue is greater than ready. And what do I mean by that? So often I see people in our Facebook group or in the comments below, or I meet people and they're constantly getting ready to launch their Airbnb business. They're getting the room ready, the loft ready, they're getting furniture, they're meeting with people. There's a million different things that go into getting your place listed and ready to go. And all I'm going to encourage you to do is to launch before you're ready, because that's how business begins and that's where you're actually gonna learn. You're gonna learn by doing. Watching me on the video is fantastic, it's a great education, but nothing beats the experience itself, and I want you to get started sooner rather than delay. Delaying is fraught with complications. There could be more competition, there could be more things. It's like a never-ending maze. You're never done, it's never ready, it's never perfect. But revenue coming into your bank, $100, $200, $300, that's like fuel that's gonna excite you, it's gonna build you, you're gonna wanna do more, and that will actually fund your getting ready. So the very first thing that people new to the channel, new to Airbnb, new to hosting need to think about is just do it. Nike had it right. Get started, launch immediately. Do not worry about perfection. It's a mistake. The second thing is about your mind, specifically your mindset. Recognize that the first year that you do anything in your life is all about the education and the learning and the experience, and it's not so much about the money. I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised and you'll have more income and more revenue than you thought possible. I think that what you won't really contemplate is just how much you're learning and you're growing, and how this experience can also shape your entrepreneurial lenses for other aspects in your life. But what I want you to do is to think about the first year of hosting as an education, as an experience, about something that you're like really interested in that could have a material effect on your long-term happiness and outlook in life. And so worry less about how much money you have and occupancy and all the things, the metrics that you're studying. Worry less about those, minimize that, and instead focus and concentrate on education, on learning, on growth, on development, on hospitality, on guest experience, all of these things that you can only learn by doing it. That's year one. Welcome to the club. The third item is I want you to focus in the correct places. And the correct places as a host is not on hosting, it's on your guest. And that's actually counterintuitive. So often when we get started in something, it's all about me, and I feel uncomfortable, and I don't have the money, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. Stop with the me and instead focus on the guest. The guest is what drives everything in this business, and if you spend your time and energy focusing on yourself, that's actually not going to grow you or your business or help even the guests remotely. But instead, if you focus all of your attention and energy on caring and concern and compassion and empathy and really like providing great hospitality towards your guest, you will do really well, you will grow exceptionally quickly, and you will stand out from all the forthcoming competition. It's getting harder out there, and what people do, whether they're new or experienced, is they forget about the guest and the guest experience, and instead they focus on themselves, and that's a big mistake. So start off on the right foot and focus on the guest. The fourth thing is really just an extension of what I discussed. Don't take feedback personally. Don't take feedback personally. I know this is really personal to you. It's your home or it's your vacation home. It's your business. There's a lot of things. It's your biggest investment potentially. And so when somebody comes and they don't like something, it's very commonplace for everybody to think it's personal attack on them and to get defensive and explain and rationalize and try and convince. And that's just a mistake. The first thing that you need to think about is the people that are giving you this feedback have an opinion. They're entitled to their opinion, and whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it doesn't really matter. It's their opinion, and you should learn from that. Remember my earlier point, it's all about learning. So if you take the feedback and you internalize it and you take it personally, you're sort of like putting up a wall and you're not really growing and you're taking it personally, and that could get you angry or make you quit or hostile, all these things that don't really work well in this business. So just recognize the people that are leaving you feedback, even if it's incorrect and you disagree with it, there is an element of truth in it, and let's just address that, and let's stay focused on the right things, and let's grow from that. So feedback is good even when it's bad. The fifth component is really to get you started even faster. And what I want you to do is treat it like a business. So what do I mean by that? So often I see new hosts get started. Maybe it's just a room in their house, or it's the garage or the loft. It doesn't really matter. But it's just something that they're experimenting with. They want to have additional revenue. They want to see if there's some signs of life in this Airbnb thing, if they like it. And that's wonderful. So it can start as a hobby. But even if it starts as a hobby, treat it like a business. And what do I mean by that? 1, take it seriously. 2, show up your best self always, every day. Try and make the best guest experience every single day. Invest in that guest experience, whether it's new furniture or upgrades or a little handwritten note or fresh flowers. It doesn't really matter. But if you're treating it like a hobby, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice and also your guests. By treating it as a business, maybe it's an early stage business, maybe it's a business that you want to grow over the next decade, but it's still a business. By just having that in your mindset, you will take yourself more seriously, you will show up more prominently, you will care more, you will deliver more exceptional hospitality and customer-facing service, and those are all really good things. So if it helps you to think of it as a business, then you must do it. And number 6, I want you to focus on profitability and not occupancy. I know occupancy is really easy to calculate. I know occupancy is just like you look at the calendar and you can see it. It's reported right there on the Airbnb dashboard. So it's a really easy metric. It's a key performance indicator, and so we all look at it, but that's a mistake. Believe you me, focusing on occupancy is a way to price yourself down and compete with people. And if you have 100% occupancy or 90% occupancy during any period other than your peak period, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. You're focused on the wrong key performance metric. Occupancy in and of itself is not our goal. Profitability is our goal. Profitability helps us grow. Profitability helps us expand. Profitability puts money in our pocket that we can invest in other things. Occupancy does none of that. If occupancy were the key metric, then I have a really easy way for you to get 100% occupancy. I guarantee it. You're going to be a raging success in your business. Just price your property down to $1 and you will have 100% occupancy. Are you happy with that? I didn't think so. Now, what if you have 60 or 70% occupancy, but you have a lot of profitability? Are you happy with that? I thought so. And lucky number 7 is how you get to profitability versus occupancy. I highly recommend that you get started immediately with dynamic pricing. The same technology and methodology that hotels have been using for decades and airlines, so that the seat next to you is charged at a different price point, is now available widely and used by everybody in the short-term rental space. When I started recommending working with Beyond Pricing 3-4 years ago, it was nascent, it was early stage, it was like hypothetical. We didn't know if it really worked. We assumed it did, and we tried it and we tested it, and in fact did work. It's incredibly profitable. More importantly, that's sort of like the standard. Everybody in the short-term rental space is now using dynamic pricing, and if you are not using dynamic pricing, you are being left behind. You are either accepting the wrong price or you don't have a booking. So if you're not using dynamic pricing in 2020, that's a major mistake, and your focus is on the wrong thing. Likely you're looking at occupancy, and you ought to be looking at profitability, and dynamic pricing is what gets you there. And number 8 is I need you to plan for seasonality. And so what do I mean by that? In almost all locations that I've looked at, there is some sort of seasonality. Even if you have perfect weather 365 days a year, there are periods where people travel more and less. Holidays, for example, more travel. School vacations, more travel. But I want you to plan for it and budget for it. Do not assume that short-term rentals are like long-term rentals where the check comes in at the beginning of the month, rent is paid and on the first of the month, and every first of the month the same amount comes in. This is short-term rentals. Today we're being overly compensated for that vacancy risk. So anticipate, plan for vacancy. we're not going to have 100% occupancy. We're focused on profitability, and in order to focus on profitability and not vacancy, we have to welcome the vacancy. We charge the right price during the peak periods so that we have enough money to save, and then we internally smooth out our own revenue. So we look at the budget on a year-over-year basis, a 12-month period, as opposed to monthly. You might be really disappointed if you have a beach place and you have a great summer season, and then in the winter, you're expecting that money to come in and you can't make the mortgage and so on and so forth. No. What we do is we take some of the money from the peak summer season, we put that in our reserves, in our bank account, and we ourselves smooth out the slow season in the winter or the off season or when there's no vacancy. Look at it over a 12-month period and just plan for seasonality because it's going to happen. Number 9. Do not sweat the small stuff. We've seen so much of this in the Facebook group where people are posting they're new to Airbnb, or maybe they're seasoned and now like they're just, I don't know, not really focused on the guest experience, and they start to sweat the small stuff. And that's a huge mistake because that can actually cause you to quit or more likely not expand or any of these other things, which is a huge mistake given the opportunity set that we're looking at. So what are some of these examples? Broken wine glasses, makeup on the hand towel, they snuck in more people than you thought, they had a couple of people over for a glass of wine, and this, whatever it is that might trigger you to get uncomfortable in a situation, if it's really going to be the kind of thing where in a day or 2 days with a small amount of correction, it doesn't really matter, then don't sweat it now. Right? Let's focus on the big picture. Let's keep in mind what it is that we're doing. And honestly, I'm a good Airbnb guest. I'm a good guest at a hotel, but even I will inadvertently spill something every once in a while. I do my absolute best to be really respectful, but just realize that things happen. And if you have that in your mindset, then you won't sweat the really small stuff. Now, there are some big items that are really important, and I understand that, and those are your house rules, and I'm not telling you to turn everything off and stop caring. All I'm saying is draw the right line. If something is life-threatening, big deal. If something is really minor and it's going to cost $12 to fix, but you're making $50,000 in revenue, it's not worth thinking about. Just correct it, move on. Don't even worry about leaving them a bad review or taking it out of the security deposit. There's an adage in business, it's the cost of doing business. So have that budgeted. You have reserves. You know there's going to be some broken wine glasses or little incidents. Who cares? Just let it roll off your shoulders and keep moving, and that's how you're going to grow and scale and take advantage of the opportunity set. You sweat the wrong stuff and too much of it, you're going to get angry, upset, anxious, stress-filled, not hospitable, and guests aren't going to enjoy themselves in your home, and it's not going to work. So just don't do it. And number 10, the final thing that I'm going to encourage you to do if you're new to Airbnb is start to dream. I just finished a one-on-one consultation, and that was the way that we ended that consultation too. This individual has had a lot of success on Airbnb, and he's starting to think about scaling, but he hasn't started to dream enough. He doesn't know where to scale or how to scale or what he wants to do or what his why is. And because you're going to have so much success, even as a beginner, I want you to start to think and dream and be creative. Do you want a mountain house, a beach house, a ski house, a lake house, an urban house? You want an international community? Know what your next step is so you have something that you're shooting for that keeps you excited, that keeps you motivated, that helps you overcome these little bumps and these hiccups, seasonality, the small stuff that you're sweating. What are we dreaming about? And let that pull you, literally pull you towards that goal and that success, and a funny thing will happen. You'll get there. So please dream and start early and dream big. And friends, that's it. Those are my 10 best tips, suggestions, advice that I would give to anybody just getting started on the platform. You can do it. I have full faith and confidence in you. I've helped tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of hosts just like you. They have no more advantage than you do, but these things will keep them focused, grounded, and successful, and a mistake would be to ignore them. So I've laid them out here for you. Just do it. All right, let's go. Leave comments below. What tips do you have for people just getting started? Again, it's all about the community. Let's share. What tips do you have for people that are just getting started on the Airbnb platform, other than clicking on the link below to get their own account and helping the channel out? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, friends. The best is yet to come. Yes. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video. I just want to share with you that the HostSaver one-click website tool is now live. Like, people are on it and they're using it all the time. And we really want to encourage you to take control of your financial future by building your own brand and building your own business and getting off the dependency of the platforms. Take charge and control of your own future and develop relationships with your clients, the people that have come and stayed in your home. Tell them about discounts or specials that you have. Tell them that you expanded. Tell them anything that you want. Write blogs and start to get your own traction, right? Attract your own tribe using your own website. This is what businesses do. It's 2020. The time is now for people like me and you to build our own website and become platform agnostic. So go ahead and click in the description below to register for the HostSaver. One click and you have your own custom, absolutely gorgeous, works flawlessly website. Can't wait to see you there. Let's go, friends.